All right. Make sure we got a live mic here. What's going on? Good morning, everybody. JT here in the Studio 10-4 live, the morning drive, and it is August the 26th, 2026. We're coming in on the end of August already, and man, it's getting ready to wind up for the the fall. The fall. I mean, it's just happening. This year is just gone. And there's still so much to do too, And I don't know if you guys are like me or, it's just like we're just rolling down the road another mile here, and next month. But man, I'm looking ahead at winter. It's just like winter is coming, Game of Thrones style, man. I'll tell you, it's there, and I feel it around here. And it's been a weird summer here because it hasn't really gotten super hot, but it's been mild, which is, hey, no complaints, real nice. But the trees around here got hit early with too much sun, so the arborists say, and the live oaks and whatever other maples or I don't know what these are, but their leaves never were allowed to flourish. They all kind of just got cooked, so they've been wrinkled and looking like they're dying since they even came out, during spring. So it's always kind of looked a little bit off around here all summer long. Now it's really getting, where there's tons and tons of debris on the ground already. And so interesting to see what's happening, man. Interesting. The seasons are definitely happening and unfolding right in front of us. So lots to talk about today. I'm going to bring the guys in right now. Co-host Mr. Brandon Carpenter. Morning. And our resident memory guy, the Google guy, the guy with all the knowledge, keeps us on track.
Yeah.
Matt Carey. What's going on, buddy?
Much, man. How about yourself?
It's another day here in the world. That's a good thing, So watching things unfold around us. I haven't watched the news in a while, so I started kind of catching up, and of course the news is full of tributes. I mean, everything is just all rolling. The news cycle right now is about Miss Dolly Parton, of course, who passed yesterday at 80 years old and had a apparent short-lived battle with cancer, and that was what ultimately took her from us. But just amazing, the life of her and her as an entertainer. She was one of those entertainers that just stayed an entertainer. Never did I ever see her jump into anybody's lane. She always stayed in her own lane.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, the only thing she did do something I didn't like, but it was the only thing I could ever remember her doing that was like even questionable was whenever the vaccine thing was going on. She was sure on social media telling everybody they need to do their vaccine.
Get their vaccine, yeah.
Yeah, that was the only thing. She did so much good in this world, that even on that, I give her a pass for that.
You got to give her a pass for that because ultimately I think Dolly became as sexy as she was at 80 years old, right? I mean, holy crap, right? But she was everybody's grandma too. I mean, I think she had a grandma's perspective, and she was just trying to do the right thing. And we knew better. Some of us, everybody had their own thoughts and feelings on that whole thing. And look where we're at with it now. Holy crap.
Yeah. Well, if you remember her in the movie 9 to 5, she kind of played the role too for a lot of women in the workforce, and in that office type setting, I mean, that was a great movie. Just a lot of different things. I mean, when you really look at Dolly's life and, her music career and then her career in the movies too. I mean, she had a lot of great roles over the years.
James is asking if you can see him video.
Yeah, James, we got you. You're kind of dark and shadowy in there. By the way, our guest James Year in the green room right now, waiting to come in. I've got a dual thing going on, so talk amongst yourselves for a second. I'm trying to get another.
So what's new, Matt? You're coaching football, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I did it last year, and I said I wasn't going to, and here I am.
Like the bad news bear coach. You know, you're.
These kids are actually pretty good. I don't know. I shouldn't say that.
Is it still called Pop Warner?
No. We call so it's 4th, 5th, and 6th tackle, but Pee Wee, I guess, or whatever.
Okay,
but,
yeah.
They're actually they're doing pretty well this year so far. So we'll see. But
anyway, back to Dolly just for a couple of moments, man. She was somebody though that did cross many much better. James, you got more light there, buddy. She is somebody who crossed all bridges. I think she came and weaved her way in and out of so many different genres, and I mean anybody. She wanted to perform and just kind of touch the world. I think, there wasn't anybody that I saw with her as off limits that she would connect with and or perform with, or be seen with, whatever. I just think she was just out there, and she came off so innocent and just approachable. Now I don't know what the woman was like behind the scenes. Maybe she had a little bit of a temper, maybe not. Maybe she was sweet as pie. But what an incredible life. But I think here's the deal: the mystique will always remain, because she didn't come outwardly. She never had any scandals. There was never any Dolly Parton scandals, right? I mean, the trash magazines at the checkout when I was a kid, there was always her and Porter Wagner. And I remember watching, here's how old I am, watching Porter Wagner, and Dolly Parton.
They played our local county fair in 1973, her and Porter Wagner. So
yeah, sounds about right, man. And Buck Owens and, the Hee Haw and all that stuff. Those shows were like the variety shows of the time. Yeah. Anyway, I think she was great. I watched a replay of a segment she did on Johnny Carson, and she sang the song she wrote that she hadn't really made it until she was on the Johnny Carson show, and Johnny was taken back by that, because he was a huge fan of Dolly, and there she was singing to him and serenading him. I think he had some major crushes out there. He was fun to watch. Bette Midler, why he had such a crush on her, I don't know, but he did. And in fact, she was the last to perform on the Tonight Show when he signed off and hung it all up, at the end of his era. Tony Noto, what's going on, buddy? Yeah, Tony, the AKA Hildebrand Noto, checking in right on. Good morning to you, buddy.
Yeah, I really think if Dolly, as long as she was in the limelight and everything, I think if she wasn't who she was, I think we would have known. Somebody would have came out.
Yeah.
But they don't. And she did have a pretty private life. I mean, her husband and all that stuff. And I don't know. I mean, I can't really say anything negative about her, honestly. So
and why would you want to? Right?
What was her husband? Geraldine. What was her husband? She always. I'm trying to remember that.
Carl Dean, maybe, or
Carl
something.
Dean. Yeah, Carl Dean. She always talked about Carl Dean, but half the time nobody knew who Carl Dean was.
Yeah, so she talked about it. Early on, she had taken him to some stuff and he didn't like it. So
yeah, he stayed out of the limelight.
Yeah, so she just said, "I'm not gonna push it." So but she met him when they were 18. She was 18, so I mean, they must have been figuring something out, right?
Well, it's kind of like Loretta Lynn. So Loretta Lynn and her husband, he was kind of always in the background, but never there in the front ground, and same with Dolly. Now they're coming out and saying Dolly was the queen of country music. So Loretta Lynn is the first lady of country music. Is that her? I think that's what they called her. So we got two separate, kind of deals going there. But
well, Dolly Parton actually got her start at the Grand Ole Opry. So, that's where she actually started at as a young lady singing. So,
wow.
She kind of is really the queen of country music when you think about it. I mean, Loretta definitely got her start kind of the same similar fashion, but Dolly really, truly, where her whole music career started was at the Grand Ole Opry. So
I'll tell you, you know what? There's certain movies out there, everybody's got their, I can watch that over and over again. Coal Miner's Daughter, great movie.
Yeah.
Just a great movie, you know.
Classic.
Yeah, it is. It really is. All right. Well, anyways, you were supposed to be talking about a lot of different stuff, and that's some of it. So local, local, worldwide, international. I mean, national news and events, and we all wish that there'd be some blessings of comfort and otherwise, relief and peace for the family, which apparently her family sounds like it's very extended and huge, and they all adored her. So peace to them and to the fans out there, man. The tributes, there's just these huge, tributes just flowing in everywhere. I guess the Hollywood star that that she has in Hollywood is covered. I mean, I don't know how big that's going to get, but I'll tell you, man, it's amazing to see the unification on social media and the amount of people that have the magnitude of her stardom and her recognition. I mean, listen, there's other stars out there, guys, that I've watched all my life. I'm dreading the day that they leave us too, but I can only imagine how that. I'm not going to say anybody's name because I don't want to jinx it.
Right. We don't have many left, so we don't want to.
Man,
that's want to jinx it.
that's it. That's the deal. And I've said this before on my radio show when I used to do radio show down in Folsom, and my advice to anybody is if you have not seen an artist, an entertainer that you truly, loved and grew up with and like and have, some kind of a connection, and you haven't seen them, you need to get out there and see them, or you will forever have that opportunity taken because they're not going to be around forever. And they are dropping, man, because everybody's aging out. It's just, that's just the reality of it. We're all getting older, and they're definitely older than us. I mean, most of them, 20 years or more are senior. Some of them less, some of them more. Except for Keith Richards and Willie Nelson, right? They're pretty much not ever going anywhere. So I will.
Yeah, that is true.
Names now, you really are going to jinx this.
I'm okay naming those two. Willie's not been looking so good lately. I've seen him. They've wheeled him around in a wheelchair at some shows, I guess. And I mean, god dang, the guy's what, like 93 or something, I think, maybe somewhere in that range. But he's had a long run, man. That guy's had a long run.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has.
And for Keith Richards, I don't even know where to begin on Keith Richards. How that when Michael Jackson died and all these memes started coming out, the one that I'll never forget is a picture of him and Michael Jackson, and the caption was, "Bet you never saw this one coming," right? he's unbelievable. I don't know, man. I don't know. It just it is amazing. Well, anyway, listen, we got some stuff to talk about that's actually truck related. And listen, Dolly's truck related. I can't even imagine how many truckers rolling down the road over the years been listening to Dolly Parton songs, whether it be her singing it or the many others that she penned and others sang and turned into hits, which there's many. So y'all been she's been in front of you more than you probably even realize over the many years that you guys have been listening on the radio. But we got James Year with us. James is back, and he's came into the show before and brought in the autonomous equation, the autonomous trucks, and he says he's got some new insight and things that he wants to share with us. Before I do that, though, Brandon, anything new up in your world there, buddy, in Ohio, besides our 49ers owner, Jed DeBarlow, getting busted? Is that a trailer park near you, or what the hell's the deal there, man?
It's been all over the radio, and I know I haven't really looked into the situation much. I've been so busy. I've been on social media a whole lot, so I seen the situation. I know it was here in Ohio, and it's like everybody comes to Ohio for all these things. I don't know why. Like all this crazy stuff always seems to happen in Ohio.
Is there some kind of like pardoning power in Ohio that if you get caught doing stupid
and
shit,
it happened in East Palestine, which is a couple of years ago. They had that big train derailment, and half the place is supposed to be like Chernobyl or something. So I don't know.
Millionaires want to go to East Palestine in a trailer park.
Yeah, I mean, you go there to get chemicals and prostitutes. I guess I don't know. You
can find anything you're looking for in Ohio. That's always the key,
Well, so here's did you guys see the post I made of I got to bring it up, but here's the thing is how in the world does this guy even get into this mess? What was he thinking? It's things that make you go, and here's the photo, one of them, and then that's actually me and Jed York right there.
Were you in Ohio?
Yeah,
No, we weren't out trailer park trolling. No, we were at a Sacramento Kings game in a couple years back, and it was during the time that there was a lot of turmoil in the 49er camp. But Tools, what was the deal? He was arrested for prostitution and engaging in prostitution and possessing criminal tools. I don't.
Yeah, so they put a sting up. So they do a lot of that here. Maybe that's why, but that's how he got to the trailer park. So it says he was answering fictitious ads online by an undercover officer, and they lured him to the trailer park and arrested him.
So here in Ohio too, like anytime you commit a crime, so for example, like when they say criminal tools, so the money you would have used, for example, that then becomes a criminal tool. Your cell phone, you use it as a tool at that point.
Telephone fraud.
So that becomes a criminal tool. So it's not like that's where a lot of people get confused from other states. They're like, oh, did he have some like who knows what like
a lot of things are going through my mind. Like what could that be?
All the drug, like here in Ohio, obviously all the drug and smoking devices and things like that people get popped for. But here in Ohio, everything can be considered a criminal tool if it was used in the commission of a crime. So it's something as simple as your cell phone, your computer, that becomes a criminal tool here in Ohio.
Interesting. Well, it's just so crazy how much stuff, in the news cycle always originates in Ohio. And it's like, man, you guys are under siege.
Well, we do get to deal with a lot of interesting stuff. I mean, it's never boring here, so that's always.
You have a lot of pent up Amish that have converted and left the faith, and they're out there running amok, or what's going on?
Well, have you heard about the Amish beard cutters? Did you hear
what?
About the
Amish beard cutters?
Cutting? Oh, you didn't hear about? Oh man, when you get off here, Google it. That's quite a great crime.
No,
story.
I want Matt to bring it up.
So, what happened? I'll bring it up. I know what he's talking about here. I'll tell you.
Yeah, we'll let Matt bring it up, but it's a great Ohio story of Ohio crime, just how Ohio crime goes and what happens here.
Unreal, man.
Let's see.
Well,
the guy directed his followers to forcibly cut their hair and beards of rival Amish community members in a series of targeted midnight attacks. A group of Amish Amish, I guess I would say, they profiled another Amish and cut their beards off. They attacked them and did it, which for the Amish, that's a big deal. So they would attack them and cut their beards off.
Yeah.
So in the middle of the night, basically, one Amish church would go to another rival Amish church, sneak into their homes, cut all their beards off, and shave them in the middle of the night, and then sneak back out. That was the whole thing.
Yeah.
Covert Amish gang wars, man. I mean,
yeah. And he actually isn't he in federal prison? The main leader.
Yeah,
he is. It was a called Amish group. I mean, they left Amish church and started a new church and we're Amish, but we're some crazy Amish church.
And his last name was Mullet. So
Yeah, Mullet. Yeah.
Samuel Mullet. Yeah, they give him 15 years for that.
Yeah, can't make it up, John.
Okay, I think there's some kind of like a Freudian thing going on there. It's like kill the mullet. That guy was out to kill the, anything mullet related, I guess. I don't know. I would have been dead if I'd have been there in his reach, I guess. Hey, Brandon Chase, good to have you on the show, buddy, and happy birthday to you. I hope you had a good one, my friend, and we look forward to seeing you this afternoon. By the way, this afternoon on the weekly update, we are going to have Jeff Patello, 3-time 10-4 cover trucker, twice directly. He was profiled, then he was his company was profiled, and then the truck that he built for PDI, Cowboy limousine that he did. He was on the cover 3 times. That's pretty amazing on 10-4 magazine. And Jeff will be on the show this afternoon. And I'll talk more about it after we get done with James here. We're going to be starting a new format on Wednesday afternoons with Dan Lenz as a regular co-host for the weekly update. So myself and Dan will be bringing you the weekly update from now on. All right, listen, we got Mr. James Year in studio. We're going to bring James out. James, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good.
Can't complain.
Good. We'll give everybody first an introduction, who you are, what you are, where you are.
Yeah. So, I guess the quick elevator pitch here is that grew up on a family farm, hauled international freight in the Air Force for a while. Got a sociology degree over at the University of Iowa, and ended up doing my master's master's project on the labor and environmental consequences of autonomous trucking. And that kind of took on a life of its own. Had a documentary come out last year with More Perfect Union that blew up. And yeah, that was kind of taken over.
So we definitely have the smartest guy in the room. And it's not one of our regular, not me, Brandon, or
Definitely not me.
James, it's that guy. In my screen, it's that guy down there, but I don't know where he's at on yours. But well, welcome to the show. Welcome back. Yeah, I mean, look, I follow all this stuff, not as like I'm looking for it, gleaning through it every day, but pops up on my screen and there it is, whether it's the electric vehicles or the autonomous vehicles, it's, all these different things that are coming into the industry that, are different things that are going to change the industry at some point. And this being another one of those issues. And listen, the autonomous equation, it's big on the automobiles too, because there's already autonomous automobiles in service commercially in different cities across the country, San Francisco being one of them, with those Waze vehicles. And listen, there's a lot of crashes in those things too that have happened. And so it's not like it's a, figured out perfect science, but
yeah. Well, like when they're not being remotely piloted out of the Philippines anyway for Waymo.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just had to get that shot across the bow there.
I'm going to say, I don't even know if I want to even know about that kind of crap. So it's bad enough when you call tech support and you can't understand what they're saying. Now they're driving the unmanned vehicles that somebody might be sitting in, getting, cruised around the city in. So I don't know. Anyway, so what's going on? What's new in the autonomous truck world that we need to know about?
Oh, how much time do we got?
Well, we'll see how it goes.
All right. So kind of the biggest thing here is that have y'all heard about the Build America 250 Act?
I have.
Okay, gotcha. So basically, most of it's infrastructure. It's like something like $500 billion, and it's going to be, most of it's going to be going to infrastructure. But they rolled about 2 bills. I think it's a Self-Drive Act and the Autonomous Vehicle Acceleration Act, I believe it was, or something like that in there. So they're sneaking in a few things. That's all due for a vote at the end of September. I believe it's on September 30th there. But basically, they're creating a AV regulatory framework nationwide. So basically, they're going to legalize it in all 50 states, and then they're going to allow self-certification and all these other like industry goodies that Yeah, basically all the state-by-state patchwork that we have going now, where like some states are able to put firewalls and engage their own rules, that's going to go away if this passes, and then there's going to be federal preemption over state and local municipal laws. It sounds like that's not complete and total yet, but then there's a lot of wiggle room in how it's written.
Well, and wait a minute, as you're breaking this down, I think those sound like good things. If there's one regulatory thing rather than the individual states in this particular, it's sort of like FMCSA regulating the industry. This is kind of that same angle, isn't it? Is that what I'm hearing? Yes.
From what I'm gathering, it's yes, it is going to be regulated, but it's going to be regulated in the way that the companies want, not necessarily in the way that they should be.
Okay.
Right. So like there's a self-certification standard in there where basically they can cross their fingers and promise that their technology is as good as they say it is, sort of a thing. But like there's no universal standard or like the equivalent of a CDL that these companies are able to, or that they have to prove to meet. Right. So basically we just have to hope everything is all on the up and up. And, you know, as you mentioned with Waymo out there, I don't know if you've seen the UC Berkeley is maintaining a AV crash dashboard and basically just tracks all the instances from NHTSA and all that. In 2025, Waymo had 594 collisions just in that year with a fleet of like 1,500 vehicles roughly. Right.
Wow.
Yeah. Right. That's something that the news doesn't.
Okay. Say run that back again. How many?
594 collisions in 2025 with roughly 1,500 vehicles.
So
well,
they're talking about level 4 and level 5 autonomous trucks. Can you go into that, James? I know it means there's not human help, but what's the 4 and 5 difference? Do you know?
Yeah, so level 4 is basically it can do some autonomous self-driving by itself, sort of a thing. But then but there's going to be limitations. There's going to be things that it can't do, and it can only do so in a very narrow scope, basically, right? Level 5 is basically like true driverless, like point to point, dock to dock, no human intervention required, no supervision, no nothing.
Out there on its own, on the loose.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
So I'm reading something about this bill. Interesting is it says that some of the exemptions in the bill are that a human still has to be inside the vehicle if they're hauling hazardous materials and warning placards, transporting minors, and it does say standard vehicle safety and maintenance inspections are still performed, but that's, I don't know, kind of interesting.
Yeah. The only two things that they're not going to go for, I think there's also another rule on the book that precludes them from hauling hazmat at all. But I guess it's good that they're not going to be going after hazmat school buses for now.
Yeah, I was going to say the hazmat and school buses is what we're talking about there. But I mean, are we talking unlimited anywhere terrain conditions? Downtown through traffic or out on the wide open, interstates, anything, anywhere? Is that where that is all inclusive in that?
Yeah. So like, I don't think that gets really into the weeds about like which roads they can and can't or anything.
Okay.
From my understanding, it's just going to be, across the country, it's going to be legal, type of a thing. And states can't make their own rules, or going to be restricted in what rules they can make on it. As far as the actual deployment goes, it's still going to be the Sun Belt. So Texas is ground zero for all of it. Huge state, a lot of miles. The Dallas to Fort Worth to Laredo run right now is really big, and they're all hitting that one real hard between all the companies, which that raises a whole bunch of other questions. But it's going to hit the Sun Belt first, mostly push west, then start pushing north. I'm guessing I-5 is going to be the next big one, maybe. But kind of
when you were on last time, James, you had talked about had been a crash, but nothing was out about it. Did you hear anything about that?
I dug into the NHTSA report on there, which that whole thing was weird. On July 8th, basically, there's a truck that T-boned one of Aurora's trucks at an intersection. Aurora wasn't found at fault, but there's a couple X posts about it. 0 articles. There's 0 news coverage I can see since then. And then going back in X, they must have gotten scrubbed. Like I can barely find anything about it. But it is the banner photo on my X page. So if you want to go see the photo, it's right there for you on my X page.
I'm still not convinced. In fact, I am absolutely not convinced. Financially, this autonomous proposition that it brings any savings to anybody in the industry to put an autonomous truck in place of a driver-driven truck.
Yeah, and oh, sorry, go ahead. Didn't mean to cut you off.
That's it. I don't see it. You know.
So the only thing I will say is, so I know a guy that is, he does quite a bit of stuff online, but he essentially he has a autonomous car, so he posts a lot of stuff of that, you know. So I find that interesting. You know, he's in the vehicle, so you know, he has to be in it, but he does a lot of stuff about how it works and stuff goes through. It's interesting, but you know, he has to pay attention. You know,
Right.
it shows, like if he's not looking or whatever, it beeps, and if you stop responding or whatever, it pulls over to the side. You know, I don't know. I just don't understand why they do that with a car, but they're thinking with the truck, let's just put that thing out there and let it go. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. You know, you got this little ass sedan car that you have to pay attention or it's going to park it. But the semi is like, hey, let's let it run. Let's go.
Yeah,
It doesn't make any sense.
well,
Brandon, you got. I see Brandon over there. Like, let it out, brother. Let it out.
yeah. Did anybody else see the steam coming out of his ears like in Popeye or something?
Yeah. The anger, of course, you know, with the old
Right.
school side of me, you know, the life that I never thought, you know, I would be exposed to all this crap in my lifetime, you know, and here I am, and it just keeps getting worse and worse, you know, and it's really simple to me that again, it's all these people get into these industries that really have no business being in the industry, but yet they think they know better, and all they see is dollar signs. You know, it's not about safety. It's not about we're going to create this new thing. We're trying to make, you know, everything more streamlined and other cash revenues and you know, it's just like the ELD business. I mean, the ELD business is now a multi-million-dollar, billion-dollar business. I mean, it's not going anywhere. And it came out of nowhere, and it's the same thing with this situation. You know, it's going to turn into the same thing, whether we need it, don't need it, whether it works, doesn't work. Too many of these tech people and all this stuff gets involved in them. It's an industry that just doesn't go away.
Well, new and improved ways to live life. When before the ELD came out, I had one of my first personal devices. You know, I don't remember what it was, but I never had a Palm Pilot, but I had something like that. Anyway, thought to myself, you know, if you make this thing this small, why can't we do a phone like this? And of course, guess what? Then we came out with the smartphone. But along the way, and I had actually thought about this, is why don't we have like a logger of some kind, you know, that we can put in play, not only for trucking, but for the delivery services that are out there, you know, UPS, FedEx, all them. But I wanted something for job sites. I wanted a way to be able to have my guys clock in and absolutely monitor that they're there and working. And then when they leave, they clock out. Well, all of that stuff eventually within 10 years came to life. And I thought, well, shit, man, I wished I'd have been the guy to do that. But yeah, there was companies way ahead, and there always is. If you think about it, whatever it is, there's probably somebody 5-10 more years ahead of you in development of doing whatever that thought might have been. And the job site thing was real simple. They put a Wi-Fi enabled time clock, and you give your guys fob, and when they get there, they get scanned, and now you know they're there, and it maintains the contact that they're there. And anyway, this the autonomous truck equation. I mean, this is another way for somebody. Supposedly, I think they probably pitched it this way. It's going to save the industry. Costs of everything are going to go down. Bullcrap. They're not.
Yeah, they're trying to say it's going to fill the gap for truck drivers because they're low on truck drivers.
Well, we are low on truck drivers because we closed the door on a lot of them that shouldn't have been out there in the first place. And now guys need to get back into the industry. And by the way, I got to say, I'm pretty happy about what I'm seeing with a lot of young guys that are coming up through the industry. And after being at this show I went to last weekend, I saw that, and And I keep continuing to see that there are young guys coming in, and I hope there's more of them, and realizing that, you know what, this is not a bad life. It's a good, honest, way to make a living if you stay with those things in mind while you're on the road. Listen, you can do anything out there and be anything out there. You got to figure it out. But I mean, it's a good living, just like the trades. I mean, you listen to Mike Rowe and the talks he has about the trades and what's going on out there. Never anything wrong with being the plumber or the carpenter or the electrician or the truck driver.
Well, that's what happened, is I can remember, and it really started in my generation that, I can remember everybody where I was going to a trade school saying, well, where are you going to college? What are you doing after school? Where are you going? How are you furthering your education? And I have relatives that have went to college into their 50s. And it's like, at what point do you start working? Where does your career start? Wow. So your education just keeps going. And then, so you get 10 years out of your education. It's time to retire. That doesn't make sense. So, this big push came in that, well, you can't be a plumber. You can't be a carpenter. You need to be a lawyer. You need to be a doctor. You need to do all this stuff. And we forgot about our tradespeople. Well, thankfully I made the decision and, it worked out good for me not to go to college, but so many of these parents, it became college is a business, and salespeople became very good, and they sold the hell out of colleges. And that's what everybody, you weren't going to be anything in life unless you went to college. Well, that's a huge mistake in my opinion. Yes, college is for some people, but for a lot of people, it's not, and it became for everyone in my generation. Well, they found out that you can read all the books you want to about the subject, but sometimes you just got to get out there and do it.
Brandon. That problem with that topic is it's so we could go on. So we homeschooled our kids, like legit homeschooled them for a reason, and it's because of the way some of the stuff in Ohio changed with some of the way that the requirements in Ohio for education, and it became it's a joke. Yeah. And we could go on, but we'll take up all that time. But my mom's a retired school teacher, and it was a very hard time for her when we started homeschooling our kids because oh my God, your kids are going to have to get a GED. No, that's not how it works. Like, my kids learn better. My kids are doing better as adults than all of their friends that went through school.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just, there's some stuff out there that talks about the school systems and how they've been put together. And so it's not just college, high schools, all that. It's a monopoly. I mean, and you and I have talked about it. I mean, here in Ohio, when, 75% of my property tax goes to the school and they've got 2,000 kids in it, that makes no sense to me.
Yep.
So.
Let's talk to the masters in the group here. James, what was going through to get where you went? I mean, ultimately coming out with a master's, and you have a master's, did you say in business?
No, multimedia photography and design. So it's like I mainly focus in like documentary photography, editorial stuff, but I can basically do anything that's got a camera involved, building websites, all that kind of stuff. I even have a scuba certification. So
that stuff makes sense. I mean, what you're talking, you know what I mean? Like, that makes sense to go to, to learn that kind of stuff. But like, I don't know, business management, shit like that. Whatever.
Well, the point I'm making is at a certain point, your career has to start. You can't be a lifelong college, at a certain point, your career's got to start, and you have to put your education to work, and that's what always kind of gets me is, you start off so late whenever you delay putting that education to work. And the education has gotten to the point where it takes so long to implement that education that their working career is so short. Well, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Well, the other thing about that though is that Brandon, I'm actually looking at PhD programs. So,
in your case, James, though, like it 100% applies to a person like you, though, and not saying that
it's not for everybody.
Yeah,
and they try to shove it down everybody's throat.
And in different points in 100%. Different people's lives, I fully support you, James. If you want to go get a PhD and whatever you feel like doing. I mean, I think that's a great thing. No matter what age you decide to do it, if you financially can support that and it makes sense. It's the kids that it's like every kid. I wasn't a college kid. I wasn't going to be a college kid. That's not what I wanted to do with my life. But it sure got rammed down my throat. It got to the point where it's like we told every kid that you're not going to be anything in your life unless you go to college. Well, that's what I take issue with. That mentality's got to stop.
Yeah.
Well, like the part that I'm seeing that's starting to be a problem here is I teach photography in a visual arts department and everything, but the way that it's not just in autonomous trucks, but every single part of the market, it's all facing exactly the same issue. Like when I first started this project, all the nerds, in academia and Silicon Valley were saying that the most at-risk jobs were truck drivers, blue-collar work, anything that was susceptible to robotics. That's still absolutely true, and that's like a growing threat every day. But then ChatGPT launched, and it's like, oh shit! Now it's all the creative jobs. Anybody that now we got generated photo, which is like really screwing up the stock photography market. Like nobody's getting stock images anymore, right? So it went after actually my industry first and the hardest. And now with all the generative video, quantum's a couple of years away. Like who the hell knows where we're going to be at, man? I think we're in the last couple of years of normal. But the interesting thing about this though is that the safest jobs, but again, the nerds are saying, is that it's going to be the humanities folks that have non-linear thinking skill sets and just creative thinking skills in general are going to be doing way better than STEM folks. Right. So
ChatGPT has reshuffled the deck and put a lot of different things in play that people that never even thought they would touch something like that have gone into it now. So there's even more people involved in manipulating photography and video and content. I mean, here's the thing about it though, and this may not be everybody. I'm sure there's a lot of people that see that stuff and go, oh wow, and it's really cool, and myself included. Some of it is, I mean I love the caricature kind of feel of some of the ChatGPT stuff. I've created some of it myself, and but the content and the videos and the pictures that are AI generated, listen, they stand out, man. There's no denying it. It is that, and you got to know that looking at it. Now there's those that don't recognize that, and that's the part that is scary. And I mean,
there's even stuff that fools me now.
Yeah. I mean, it's getting better and better. I mean, you're not there is stuff that you're not. I mean, every week they're coming out with something else. I mean, AI is just in the last even probably 6 months is leaps and bounds.
Did you see that video of Will Smith eating spaghetti? And then it's the two videos of Will Smith eating spaghetti, and then there's the bad video, but then Will Smith is in there, and you can't really you can still tell it's not Will Smith, but then he slaps himself like he's at the Oscars. And spaghetti goes flying everywhere. That's a good one. You should go look that one up. AI is not all bad, I guess, but that was the one instance where I liked it.
I saw one yesterday. It was Trump and Vance and Ilhan Omar, and I mean there was all of them mashed together, and it was I'm looking at this thing, man, and the way they had this thing going, it was. I'll tell you, and the dialogue though, the dialogue was pure FU all the way through and through, and I mean, I kind of laughed my ass off a bit because it was pretty funny, but at the same time, I'll tell you, what that is now was not where we were 6 months ago. I mean, it was scary looking real shit. And another one was a rock band montage that they did, and they plugged all those same guys in, it's going leaps and bounds very, very fast.
Yeah, it's I think it's AI's capabilities or power is basically doubling every 6 months. So by 2030, it's going to be about 100 to 250 times more powerful than it is now, and that's not factoring in quantum. And quantum's going to be another exponential factor with this too. So 10 years from now, we're going to see some absolutely wild shit. Absolutely wild. By 2035, what these AV trucking companies are saying is true. I think I don't know, by 2030 we could have anywhere between 50 and 80,000 autonomous trucks on the road, and just plus AI is saying by 2035 between the U.S. and China, I'm guessing most of it's going to be in the U.S. is going to be 130,000 roughly, and each one of those is going to displace 2 to 2.5 drivers. So,
and again, you know, I always bring this up that you know, we can keep reinventing the wheel, but at the end of the day, no matter any way you slice and dice this, the truck driver is still ultimately the consumer as well.
Yep.
So if you take the consumer out of the picture, who do you sell the product to that the trucks are actually hauling? You know?
Well, speaking of, sorry, go ahead.
Speaking of China, no, you might have seen this. I was just trying to look it up. It popped up earlier. They just came out and said that China hacked NASA and the Defense Department, a whole bunch of stuff.
Yep.
It just come out and they were talking about it. I didn't get a chance to read it. I don't know if anybody saw that, but
yeah, I haven't gotten into that one quite yet.
Well, the feeling I get is we're, you know, this is all headed in let's say 5 years, 10 years, you know, we're going to be Mr. Anderson and the guy's going to be knocking on the door, Mr. And this is all Matrix, you know, references. Those of you that are Matrix and watch the Matrix get it. But yeah, I mean, we're all going to be batteries for the machine.
you could be more right than you know, and it's scary.
Yeah, right. I mean,
so there's one thing that happened last week that's worth digging into a little bit here. I put a link in the comments for a YouTube link. Is there any chance we can watch? It. Oh, okay. Could we just watch like the first 5 minutes of it? I want to see your guys' reaction to it.
There's the link. Is that the one?
No, the YouTube link. It's from the Aurora Retail Investor Town Hall that happened last week.
Let me bring that one up. I got to switch screens here for you
because they did a real good or good quote unquote, but they did a little rapid fire fancy video version of their investor presentations where you know, they're saying some of the quiet parts out loud if you read between the lines here. I think,
is that link the last one you posted in there?
It's at 12:32. I'm watching it right now.
Yeah, so like right when they open it up is where we want to start here. When they do like the whatchamacallit. Yeah. Or do you want me to play it and share it, or?
I got it right now. I'm bringing it up.
Oh, gotcha. Should we? Okay, there you go.
Can you guys hear the audio on that?
No.
No. Okay, hang on a second. I need to change the settings on it so that you can.
But yeah, while you're working on that here, so like basically the first 5 minutes of this video is, well, the entire video is meant for investors. It's supposed to be a town hall, but they took questions beforehand, cherry picked only the ones that they wanted to answer, and then there's no live questions or anything. So basically, the entire like hour-long video is just a big advertisement. But in like the first 5 minutes, they have two, you know, fancier videos that they broke down with the CEO and their CFO, I believe it was, and they're just like kind of giving the reddest of red meat for their investors. And you have to keep in mind here that the investors are not truck drivers. Like there's Sequoia Capital and all these other guys with, you know, deep pockets and stuff, and that's their target market, right? That and, you know, guys like Hirschbach and McLean and whoever else, right? So just keep that.
Where in here? What time mark do you want me to come in on it at?
Oh, just at the very beginning for like the first like 4.5 minutes, something like that.
All right, let's give
supply chains and overnight shipping. The system.
You guys got the audio now?
Limits.
Yep.
It's facing rising operating costs and high driver turnover in an environment where mistakes can cost lives. Aurora Driver 2 creates brand new opportunities. It's a new kind of driver designed for the modern supply chain. It moves freight farther and faster with uncompromising safety while driving down operating costs. Aurora Driver 2 isn't just an incremental step, it's a game changer, one that allows carriers and fleets to optimize the most valuable resource of them all, time. A 1,000-mile haul, like the one from Fort Worth to Phoenix, traditionally requires a mandatory 10-hour stop, so the driver can rest and be alert behind the wheel. This adds necessary idle time to those trips. The Aurora Driver doesn't need to rest. It's never tired. That makes delivery times on this route up to 40% faster than a solo driver. But the benefits of the Aurora Driver are much more than just speed. It's about driving increased revenue and lower costs. Operating more hours every day means you can drive double the revenue per truck. When you combine that increased productivity with improved fuel economy and lower insurance costs, you get a meaningfully better bottom line.
All right, get the
To
rock and
understand
roll music.
Aurora's
Huh?
investment case, you have to start with the sheer scale of the market. Trucking is the backbone of the U.S. economy, a $1 trillion market driven by over 200 billion vehicle miles traveled annually. The global opportunity is 4 times that. We are targeting trucking as our first application because of this massive scale, the tremendous value our technology creates, and importantly,
I got to stop this for a minute and say, if I see one of them things coming to me, dude, I'm going the other way.
Don't blame you.
All I'm thinking as I'm watching this, I bet you neither one of these dudes have even touched a truck.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, or spend any time in one. That's always the
first
They
time
know
I saw
better.
us when they were standing in front of it here. Just
Yep, but they know better.
Well, and case in point on that, I used to go to the California Air Resource Board meetings in Sacramento when I was in another life, another time years ago, right around the early 2000s or so. And I talked to these people directly, from the audience to them. There's not a single one of them that ever had anything to do with anything as far as air quality research, technology, or otherwise. These guys are all lobbyists. They're a tool. They're just all tools. And they know nothing about trucking. They know nothing about the industry. They know nothing about anything to do with what's going on and what they're doing and the cause and effect that they have that they're creating. And
so I don't know if you realize this. There are bigger organizations hire full-time people to basically go out and schmooze lawmakers and all that kind of stuff. So like my interaction with that was like, I'm a retired fire chief. The Fire Chiefs Association hired a lady that her job is to go up to the state house, talk to all these people, help push stuff around. So,
yeah, no, their lobbyists have been in the system forever, so it's nothing new, and it is essentially what they are. They're pushing whoever's agenda it is that's paying them to be pushed, and the latest one in California is just the next biggest laugher. Basically, taking tires off the road now. You can only have certain kinds of tires, and they're going to start pushing that agenda. They're pushing it already, but the timelines are already set as to what they want them to be and how soon, and how much longer you can have certain tires and can't have certain tires on your vehicles anymore. So they basically just took the entire truck industry out because the tires are not energy efficient by their standard. I mean, you get any truck with any tire with any kind of a traction lug on it or tire traction pattern on it, it's going to have resistance. That's so what do they want? I don't know. Anyway, it's one thing after another in that state of what they do and how they look at things now. Anyway, it is a never-ending drama down there, and of course I still get newsletters from one of the guys that's big down there, Kevin Kiley, and he's immediately, as soon as the latest thing comes out, man, he's on the attack to get it rescinded or shot down, because he's the guy he's the voice of reason, trying to get these guys to quit screwing things up down there, but never ending. So listen, we're at the top of the hour here just about. James, thanks for coming in and sharing what you did. Anytime you want to drop in and post some links onto the stream after it's up, go ahead, feel free to do so, and certainly share that. any what's the message on the going out, man? What do you got?
Yeah. So, Build America 250 Act is up for a vote on September 30th. Make sure to call all of your congressmen and representatives about it. Dig into the autonomous stuff. We just posted a link on the comments on there too. So, yeah, really, now's the time to make a big fight about it, because like once this gets put in the law and the AV industry gets what they want, it's going to be a lot harder for us to correct anything later on down the road, right? And on top of that too, I'm also helping out with 10-4 DC this year. So we got Director Bars coming out. I believe it's on either September 1st or September 2nd are going to be the main days on the National Mall. 10-4 is looking for people to register. Go up there if you want to camp your truck on the National Mall. That's going to be a possibility. And there's going to be staging grounds up north of Baltimore on Upper Co Motor Speedway. So it's about 4 or 5 day event, 2 days on the National Mall right there. We're going to be bringing in a whole bunch of different advocacy groups, trying to get as many regulators and legislators out there as possible. Yeah. And we got another new group out there called We the Truckers too. And those guys have been really going hard on the research and legislative outreach and stuff to kind of counteract the AV industry's lobby, which is the Autonomous Vehicle Industry Association. So there are people helping out with this, Teamsters included and all that. But yeah, if anybody wants to come out to 10-4 and check it out, we'll be out there, September 30th to October 4th. And then, October 1st and 2nd is going to be on the National Mall. So feel free to check it out at 10-4dc.com.
I think the conversation needs to continue, and while there's probably a lot of conversation that goes on between all you guys out there watching today and later watching on the playback, it needs to turn into activism to do something about it. If you don't do more than just talk about it, nothing's going to change or happen. So watch out, get out there, be a part of it, be an active person in your industry and help stay it, man, because otherwise what we just watched was where the some wanted to go. And I know that myself, I think that it has its place again right now. That place to me is, and I had this conversation yesterday with Dan, I think that place is off-road applications where it's a completely controlled, contained environment, like a mining environment where there are dirt mine roads that they go back and forth and load dump and other very specific controlled environments. If they can get that to work, then start taking the next steps. Maybe they think they're past that. I don't know, but right now I think we need more drivers, period. So guys, encourage the young guys out there to get involved and get driving, man. There's good careers out there to be had, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Listen, we're done with this morning. James, thanks a lot, buddy. And we'll catch you again another time. Keep in touch, okay?
Yeah, we'll do. All
Thank
right. You.
See you, James.
All right, guys. This afternoon got a good show lined up. Brandon, are you on the run or you got a second?
I gotta get moving here. It's actually a couple people waiting on me. So
am I getting
Yeah, yep. I'll call you here shortly. So
okay. All right.
Yep.
Matt, good to see you, buddy.
Yep.
Good luck with the youth football and coaching.
Yep. Appreciate it.
All right. Guys, take it easy. We'll see you next week or around the campus, so to speak. Okay.
All right.
See you guys.
All right.